Calgary has an interesting and significant history within our gay community. Tomorrow is the kickoff of Pride Week, which City Television is proud to sponsor. The Gay History Walk and Reception is part of Pride Week. Here to give us a history lesson this morning, Kevin Allen. Kevin is the research lead of the Calgary Gay History Project, and all the information you were just telling me you're going to compile eventually in a book.
That's right.
And your goal to have this book out is?
Pride 2015.
So next year, 1 year from today. Okay, so you have a lot of work ahead of you. Before we get ahead of ourselves, though, how did you come up with the idea of starting this?
Well, I'm a fourth-generation Calgarian, and I was sitting around the dinner table with my parents one day, and I was asking them, what was it like for gay people before I was born, before 1970? And they said, there were no gay people before you were born. But then my father later confessed to me he knew not to go to the Cecil Hotel,
okay,
the tavern downstairs, particularly on Friday nights, because it was a gay male hangout.
Okay.
And that got me really interested in finding out where the gay people were and what their lives were like.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, going back to the 70s, 60s, 50s, that type of thing. So there's some specific locations that you've asked us to highlight this morning. And the first one is the Bay downtown. Now, how significant is the Bay downtown?
Well, this was a phenomenon all across Canada. Gay men would have sex in public department store washrooms.
Okay.
I think partly because the men's washrooms weren't used that very much. They were kind of discreet. And here at the Bay, there were a few stings that happened where police entrapped the men.
Okay.
And they would publish, the authorities would publish their names, their home addresses, and their occupation in the paper, the daily papers the next day. So there was a real culture of intimidation back then.
No kidding, an invasion of privacy on many levels.
Yeah.
Many levels. Okay, so that's the significance of the Bay downtown. How about the Glendale Museum?
Well, the Glendale was the site of a gay and lesbian film festival called The Fire I've Become in the mid-90s. And it was heavily protested by social conservatives. And I remember going to this festival myself and having to cross through picket lines.
And you would have been about 20-ish, right? Yeah?
25.
Give or take. Yeah, okay, yeah, there you go.
And it was really a political stand that the Glendale allowed this film festival to happen, even though they were taking a lot of heat and worried about their public funding.
Cool. Well, kudos to the Glendale for that. How about City Hall, the front steps of City Hall? Was this political activism, or?
Well, this is back in '91.
Yeah.
We had our first Pride parade that ended up on the steps of City Hall. And it was a controversial year because Al Duerr, who was mayor at the time, proclaimed it as a gay Pride week. And then he rescinded his proclamation because of the political heat.
Really?
And so about 400 people marched down 8th Avenue and ended up on those steps of City Hall. And then Member of Parliament Sven Robertson gave a speech to the crowd and really invigorated everyone, despite the protesters and pit bulls and things on the sidelines.
Interesting. Okay, that's the significance of City Hall's front steps. How about the Cecil, the old Cecil Hotel?
Well, the Cecil has always been a working-class drinking spot.
Yeah.
And in the 60s, it was the hangout of the lesbian community.
Ah, okay.
They used to, on the weekends, play softball and then come for a drink afterwards. And the former owner of the Cecil said that those women were his toughest customers.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. And last but not least, the Memorial Park Library. What's the significance of this beautiful building?
Well, the very first Pride rally happened in 1990 on those steps, and there was about 200 people who came, and some people were wearing masks. They didn't feel comfortable to reveal their identities, but that's where Pride Calgary believes is their first year. That's sort of the dawn of the Pride movement.
Interesting. Interesting stuff. And then 91, as you talked about, was the march to City Hall down Stephen Avenue and Sven Robertson speaking. Interesting stuff. Now, I know we mentioned this already. You're compiling this for a book. 2015, next year is the target release date. You got to come back to talk about that once you get your project done.
Thank you.
We just showed Memorial Park Library. The Gay History Walk and Reception is a free event. Kevin's going to be taking people on a tour next Wednesday, right? So 1 week from today, starting at the library, Memorial Park Library, 7 p.m. is when you need to be there. For more information, hit up our website, breakfasttelevision.ca. And Calgary Pride Week, all kinds of things happening, various events and locations from the 22nd to the 31st. The Pride Parade's happening, Stephen Avenue, August 31st at noon. Is it going to City Hall again? Where does it wrap up? I always forget.
We're in Mawada, the Armory now. Yeah.
Much bigger venue necessary.
I think there'll be probably 40,000 people, so it doesn't
Awesome. Good
get downtown.
Good stuff. Well, nice to meet you, Kevin, and come back, as I said. because we want to show off the book once you've compiled that stuff. This Wednesday at 7 p.m. I may join you for the walk.
Thank you.
Interesting stuff.